Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 Wii review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Conduit, which if you've never played it before, it's a first person shooter. Right then, at the start you get to choose your profile. From there there's all sorts. There's the main game, which is either new game or continue game. I've got two files set up, one right at the start, one a bit later on, just so I can show off some of the missions. You've got mission select for replaying missions, you've got the multiplayer, which I will show some of it off, you've got the extras, which is just like unlockable stuff, and if you've got the special one, you've got promotional code, you can view game statistics and stuff. The options, I know people complain that I show these, but I think in games like this it's very important to actually show them, because I think the options on this are fantastic. You can choose all sorts, as well as the game difficulty and the subtitles and boring stuff. The controls, you can customise 100%, it is fantastic. You can change the sensitivity of the camera and everything, you can change what camera style you want, you can change the dead zone, you can change even the character's run speed, natural run speed. It's basically, it's the type of thing that I personally think the controls in the game are terrible as standard. So it's one of them things, take 5-10 minutes out to just, fanny around with the controls basically, and you'll find the game is a hell of a lot more playable. But at the start though, you basically get a cutscene, which to be fair you can skip from a certain point, but it's one of them things that you can't skip right away because it uses the cutscene to load. The story on the game though isn't actually half bad. It's a bit generic, granted, as is the voice acting, but it's still not that bad. The whole point of the game though is it's a first person shooter and it's just basically a run and gun. There is the odd thing here, which to be fair I'm going to have to use now, like the ace, which to be fair, the ace, the whole point is that you just use it to scan things. However, I haven't actually been told to use it yet, so it's not going to let me, which is a bit annoying. Right, so this is the ace that I was saying, well, the ASE to be fair. Basically, you use it like a gun, like you point and all that, and then you hold the fire button and you have to scan things. That's literally it. That's the only difference to the game. You'll be running and gunning like hell, doing John Rambo this, John Rambo that, but then every now and then you'll have to scan things, but it's not like Metroid, so it's not like scanning all over the place, and the scanning's actually interesting. It's just a bit of a chore, and it's the type of thing that breaks up the gameplay, which, to be fair, the gameplay does need breaking up, because I hate run and gun generic games, and it's pretty much one of the few flaws with the game. I find it needs a bit more variety, so hopefully in the sequel they'll add a bit more variety. And to be fair, while I'm mentioning bad things, I might as well mention one of the other downsides. Well, to be fair, the biggest downside is the fact that there are 9 missions and a half-decent gamer can beat them all in about 5 to 6 hours. It is yet another one of these cases that I'm finding with this generation. One of the things I despise about this generation, that online gaming and the multiplayer takes focus away from the single player. I don't like spending a large amount of money to get a game that I can beat in a couple hours time, and then the only way to get any extra time out is to be forced to play the multiplayer, which sometimes, well, to be fair, a lot of the time, the multiplayer is terrible. But to be fair, this one, it has actually got a good multiplayer. For some of it, it's one of them things that, once again, it's got lag, and the lag can ruin it. So if you get matches without lag, then it is actually a pretty good multiplayer. But as I say, it's basically a run and gun game for the most part, so I've pretty much said everything that needs to be said about the single player really, other than that, obviously, you've got your top right corner which shows which weapons you've got. You can have 2 weapons carried at one time. You've got your top left corner, which has your grenade types, and there's all sorts of grenades on the game. To be fair, I've actually got 3 types here. I've got the normal grenade type, I've then got the flashbang grenade type with this, and then I've then got one that's a nuclear symbol, but to be fair, it is actually a bit naff. Just showing it off there. It does that, so that's about it. That's, as I say, a bit naff. Speaking of naff as well, to be fair, some of the graphics on the game are a bit dodgy. It's one of them things that the graphics are pretty much 50-50. Some parts of it looks really nice, some parts of it look a bit bad. Musically, when there is music, it is actually done really well, but there isn't much music on the game, so there's not much point in letting you listen to any. I might as well just cut into the multiplayer, which is the thing that, to be fair, everyone wants to know about. Right then, this is the online. Before you go online, you actually get a lobby menu where you can choose like your character model, you can choose the colour of them, you can choose your Wii speak options and stuff like that. Then you have to choose what type of game you want to play, so there's free for all, team deathmatch type thing, although it's Team Reaper, and then there's also team objectives, where complete objectives as a team, and whichever team does the best wins. There's then different variations on those modes, and in the lobbies of the games you get to vote on what style you want to do. So you can vote on weapon sets, you can vote on rule sets, which are them, and you can vote on stage sets as well, because there's 7 stages overall, and the level design is pretty much the same as the main game. Some of it's really good, some of it's a bit naff. But the rule changes are basically you can have things like capture the flag, although it's capture the ESE. You can have ESE football, so you can just have some daft stuff like that, or you can just have play and kill like the next person standing next to you type thing, like all in all killing each other, random normal rules and stuff like that. It's up to 12 people though, the online, and it's one of them things that when it works really well. When it's laggy, it pretty much kills the game, and to be fair, almost kills your Wii, because several times now I've started a game, it's completely lagged out and crashed my Wii, so not happy with that. Few things left to mention, that both for the single player and the multiplayer. In the top left you've got your health bar, forgot to mention that before. You can collect med packs, or if you're wearing the suit, which you get at certain points, then you'll actually have your health recharge a bit. The weapons on the game, some of them are fantastic, some of them are just terrible. There's also, for the multiplayer only, a radar in the bottom left corner which you might be noticing, and the flashbang grenades do actually disrupt the radar as well as the, like, making you blind and that, so I quite like that. The controls in the game are as you'd expect with a pointer, but unfortunately there's also some motion controls. I say unfortunately because I personally don't think motion controls make playing games relaxing. Especially because on this, several times now, the standard motion for grenade is to shake the nunchuck. You can change it, but I ended up having to change it because I kept blowing myself up just trying to scratch my nose. So that's one thing that I pretty much hate about it. There are friend codes obviously, and it does tell you your friend code when you first boot up to the internet, and it is different between the profiles because there's 3 profiles, so that's 3 friend codes per game. There are checkpoints on the main game, so if you do blow yourself up with a grenade though, then you don't have to worry because you don't go back too much, but it still is annoying. There's also achievements on the game, which is like one of them is, for example, get 1,000 kills offline, and there's also ranks for online depending on how well you do, so you'll rank up basically. Well, pretty much out of things to say. Obviously I thought I might as well show this off. This is what happens when you finish a game, it tells you your stats and stuff. But the only things I've got left to say is the game does have its downsides, and it's one of them that there's no split screen multiplayer at all, co-op or anything, and I think that's a disappointment. There's also, as I say, the glitches with the lag and stuff like that, and every now and then you'll see invisible walls and stuff, but it's all things that can actually be fixed. And it's the type of thing that I think the first game, it's better than mediocre, it's okay, it's not really worth full price in my opinion, but it's still a good game, and I can't wait until the sequel because I think the sequel could be amazing if they just fix these few problems. So, yeah, it's a fun game, but not worth full price really. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.